Hello, hello, I'm here. I'm a bit late, sorry. I'm just late. Oh, I was just doing some housekeeping. I had windows open. Windows stuff from 22 years ago that I was filing away. I've been wading in the digital archive, and I hadn't tidied up after myself, so that's why I'm late. Payne's in, evening. G-Man's in. Well, all the popular people are here. That's good. It's good, isn't it? Whew. Bit out of puff. Me puff has gone and deserted me. So what should we talk about tonight? Anyone got any ideas? Anyone? Bjorn's in. He's Bjorn again. There we go. Very quiet tonight. Where is everybody? Where's everybody gone? Where is everybody? So, are you all aware of the price of Lurpak? Jason's in. Have you seen the price of Lurpak recently? Well, that's nothing compared to the price of the art pack that I had to buy for Verity today for art GCSE. Yeah, it wasn't half expensive. It was £35. £35. It's like, what? And I'm just gonna see if I can pull it up what it said it was, because they've got to have this for them to do their. Have we got it all in here? Active items or historical items? Here we go. We show the historical items. Why doesn't this bloody website work? I want to see the historical items, please. Here we go. This is the art pack. It consists of sketchbook, carry case, acrylic paint set, oil paint set, disposable palettes, paintbrush set, and colouring pencils. That was 35 quid. 35 quid. Excuse me. I'm sure if because again, many of you out there may not have children. Many of you may have children but not realise it. Many of you may have children and choose not to realise that you have children. But I'm in the unenviable position of actually having children, of being aware of their existence and having to find the money to pay for them. But yeah, it's a good grift. 35 quid, but that's nothing compared to the Chromebook that Herb had to have last year when he started at the school. And it was a very low-powered Chromebook. But by the time I totted it up, we're paying something like £12 a week, I think. £12 a month, sorry, not a week. £12 a month. But by the time I totted it up, we spent well over £400 odd. And yet, when I looked at this Chromebook online, it was about worth 150, and I could have got a high-powered Chromebook for £200 because there was a special educational discount that they were offering. I think who does the Chrome these days? Is it Google? Do Google do the Chrome? I know somebody does the Chrome, and they were offering like 50 quid off. So for 200 quid. I could have got a really high-powered Chromebook. Instead, I've got this Pony Chromebook, which is going to be absolutely useless by the time we've paid it all off. It'll be just nothing more than a glorified doorstop for £12 a month. Oh, it's insured as well, just in case anything happens to it. But the schools now it's just a licence to print money. I don't remember when I were a lad. I don't remember having to pay to go to school or pay to have equipment. You had a pen, pencil, a calculator and a ruler, and that was about it. So I'm just feeling like that's 35 quid I could have spent on Pink Floyd reissues, isn't it? Bjorn says, you sound like you had a full day. No, not really. Every day is a holiday. Permanent Vacation. It's an Aerosmith album, isn't it? Remember when that was released? I said to the missus, "That's us. That is Permanent Vacation." No, I'm just existing. I'm existing. I'm still here, just about. And congratulations on 4K. What, 4K television? I've had that a while. If you're talking about subscribers, I couldn't give a fuck. Subscribers are meaningless to me. You've got to remember, I had 20,000 subscribers, 10 million views. Come on. Come on. I was King Big Bollocks once. Now look at me. I'm just grifting. I'm grifting for spare change now with shitty Pink Floyd reviews. Because that's all that pulls in the punters. Subscribers don't mean anything. It's viewers that count. Remember that. It's eyeballs that count. So congratulate me on my view count rather than subscribers, because again, as a metric, they're really quite useless. But somehow YouTube puts value on them and gives you trinkets for as many as you can get. You know, but it's not for me. It's not for me. The other month, I was pulling in less than 10 subscribers a month. Now, I'm nearly 60 subscribers a month. I used to be, at my peak, over between 150 and 200 subscribers a month. You can see how cruel and wicked the YouTube, Google algorithm is. She's wicked mistress, she is. She no longer appreciates my talent and genius. What can you do? There's not a lot you can do. Jason says, nice review of Animals. Was it nice? I don't know. Payne says, yeah, but try spreading Art Pack on your toast. Well, Lurpak, Art Pack. I'd like to see Verity paint with Lurpak though. She probably could. Or she could at least create something. Have you seen butter sculptures? They are a thing. Look them up. Butter sculptures. It's a very weird thing that they have in America in their, I guess you call it in their dairy belt. This surplus butter that they make, they use for sculpting. Yeah, it sounds like something from a fever dream, but trust me, it does happen. It does happen. Payne says, like I said, on the twits, if they're 20 in a class, that's £700 for supplies. I'll have to ask her how many are in a class, because, you know, I've got a feeling it's overpriced, because not everybody pays, and it kind of subsidises for the rest of them, the ones that don't pay. But being somebody who likes to do the right thing, you know, they've already had, like, how much did they have? £2.50, I think it was. £2.50 for a copy of Jekyll and Hyde. That was last week. It's really? Music tuition for autumn term, 107 quid. A replacement sketchbook, 4 quid. They've still got the school matinee production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. 10 quid for a ticket to that. That was a bargain. Didn't go though. Didn't go to that one. Russell's in. He says, evening. Good evening, Russell. Rob says, my parents had to get an art folder when I did GCSE art. I think it was about £5 back in 1983. We had to buy our own colouring pencils too. 1983, you didn't do GCSE art, you did O-level art. Come on, don't lie, because I did O-level art. Do you want to hear a story of misery and woe regarding my O-level art? I think I'm only one of the only people to get. I didn't fail it, but I didn't get a very good grade for it. Not because I'm shit. Well, I am shit. You know I'm shit. That's why you're here. Come and laugh at the shit man. But it was the, what holiday would it have been? Would it have been Whitsun? It was a holiday before the exams, and my entire folder of artwork disappeared. Came back, it was gone, and we had a fucking useless hippie. He was a hippie, drippy Mr. Vintner. Oh, if I saw it, I could punch his face in. He was completely useless. He was a waste of skin, absolutely hideous. useless person. And I went to him and I said, Mr. Vintner, my art folder's gone. Where did you leave it? I went, well, in the drawer, we always leave them. And he said, oh, well, the builders have been in, and maybe, I mean, I'll never know what happened to it. I imagine, I don't know, maybe somebody dumped it. I think I know it might have been, on reflection, but, So I said, what do I do? And he said, well, you just have to do all of it again. And I said, 2 years' work in, looks at watch, a month, or it was even less than a month before before it was due to be submitted. And he went, yes. And I just went, and I can't remember what I did. I don't think I did it. I think I did some rough stuff, just anything to fill the folder up. Stuff at home. Just went into a panic, and it kind of distracted me from my O-level studies. But hopefully, Mr. Vintner, got the ending he deserved. Bjorn says, let's go back to the days of pencil, ruler and eraser. Damn fucking cheaper than a Chromebook, I tell you that. So I said, how's it going tonight? It's going. Bjorn said, when you had 20,000 subs, did they all tune in? Or was it less? It's very much as I'm now. It didn't make a damn jot of difference, It was, in fact, it was quite depressing, because you build up this head of steam, and my views just kind of went, So again, you see it with other people. You see it. They have their heyday, and then it kind of tapers off. And then, if you're lucky, I'm never going to be lucky, because the algorithm doesn't really favour the sort of material I do. You get the light shone upon you. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't think the algorithm really favours Brits, British YouTubers, or in this what I do. I think it's more favourable to Americans. I wonder why. I don't know. But yeah, that's why I was moaning about subscribers back then. If the old faithful know, he's always moaning. He never stops fucking moaning, that boy. They all know. They all know what a whinging, moaning so and so I am. But no, you put in. It's because I don't do a script. I don't work off script, and I don't edit. I don't put any professional effort into what I do, because it's a skill. What I do is a skill. I come on, I turn the camera, and I talk to you, like I say, the pub bore. I come on and I bore you shitless about whatever is on my mind, and that's the way it's going to be. I mean, I could script it, but I'm just going to say the same thing. So, there's very little. There might be a few more jokes, but it's very little point. And also, it's not. I don't find it interesting. I spend all the time writing the script, and then by the time I've written the script, I've kind of learnt the script, and so it's kind of. And then I think of other things to say, improvise whilst I'm doing the script. And it got to the point, because I used to script all this stuff at the very beginning. I think for about 20 or 40 prog reviews, I did write a script, and then I realised I was actually improvising more off the script than on the script, and it felt more fun just to, just talk. So that's what I did, and then I guess people don't like me, because I don't work hard enough. I don't put enough effort in. Robert says, I have 84 subs, which makes me smile or raise an eyebrow for a variety of reasons. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, do you publish regularly? Do you do shorts? I keep saying, do shorts. I don't want to do shorts. But yeah, everyone go and check out Robert Payne's YouTube channel. Let's get him up to 100 subs tonight, Let's give him a boost. Let's give him a boost. What have I done there? I don't want to do that. do 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 do. Do 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 do. Sorry, I got distracted. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So I'm just letting the chat build up. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, anyway, here we go. Go and sub to Robert Payne and let's get him to 100 subs. Should we do that every year? Should we do that? Should we do that every week? Sorry. What am I talking? I don't know what am I talking about? Is anyone paying attention? Because I know I'm not. Look, if you've got a YouTube channel, I will get you at least 4 subs via the live stream, because I have no influence whatsoever. Right? No influence. But there we go. Stop says, clicked on this thing you're saying about the lamb. Well, it is. And the lamb lies down on Broadway. I've ruined it for you now. I've ruined it for you. You're always going to hear that now. But yeah, I'm here to moan, man. You got the thumbnail because it's the auto thumbnail, I believe, because I didn't add a thumbnail to this because come on, you know what this is by now because I think you've been here before, haven't you? Payne says O level then. Absolutely, you're right. Absolutely, of course I'm right. Come on, don't you know I'm always right? Always. My doodles were examined in 1986, the last year of ordinary O levels. Well, actually, the last year of ordinary O levels was 1987 because I did the last year of O levels and the missus did the first year of GCSEs, which was 1988. Oh, how we laugh. We often reminisce and laugh about that. You got a C. Well done. You did better than I did. For someone who says, I haven't seen the Animals review. Is that the 5.1 surround sound Blu-ray? No, it's the vinyl. But you can go and watch it if you want. It's about half an hour long, and I witter on. It's boring. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't. But then I don't watch any music reviews. But you know what I'm like. I go on, don't I? I go on a lot. Chris says, hey Chris. Bjorn says, oh, did you script them? Yeah, I scripted all that. I did all the scripting. I can prove it, he says, because I'm an obsessive arsehole. No, really I am. And I do believe, if I can find it in my folder, I might have the prog review scripts. Yes I do. In fact, I scripted more than I realised. I scripted over 220 episodes, and I have, what did I say? I have the receipts to prove it. So, I should keep my voice down because Ray's in bed. Shit, I'm going to get in trouble now. I'm going to get a smack bum. So look, you can see here, look, all the scripts. You see? All of them. Look at all of them. Wouldn't you love it, right, if I published this, if I put these into a PDF, right, and published it on Amazon for £1? I bet at least, well, oh no, he's died. Alan Harwood's died. I'd have got at least one person buy it, and it would have been Alan Harwood. But he's gone. My biggest fan. It leaves me bereft. Not because of the money, but it was always, I always thought it was nice that, you know, he supported us and that, and he's even supported with a comic book. You know, it's nice that. You bastards, you never do anything for me. But yeah, 220 it went up to. There are others, but I think I deleted them. I think I deleted them. Who Remembers Overcoming the Monster by King Bathmat? That was a great record. Yes, I used to script them. I keep a very extensive archive. Everything. I keep it. I never throw anything away. Not digitally. Not if I can help it. But what I do need to do is I do need to get a new archive, new digital archive, because Drobo, have gone out of business, and they're not supporting anything ever again by the sound of it, which is a bit worrying. They might get bought up, but that means that any we've got, what is it, the new Mac OS, whatever it's called, I can't remember what it's called, Ventura Boulevard, I don't know what it's called, is coming out, and my Drobo won't work with that, so hey, that's going to be fun. So I've been, do you know how fucking boring it is looking at hard drives and hard drive solutions and NASes and DASes and FASes and whatever they're called? Do you know how fucking boring that is? Do you have any idea how mind-meltingly boring it is? Well, I've been doing it for the last, fortnight since I found out about Drobo, because they emailed me and said, "Hi Darren, we don't care you're a customer. In fact, you can just go and fuck off now, because you better not update your computer. You better not do anything, because you're fucked." I think that's what it said. The email felt like that's what it said. And it felt like it was doing that to me. It really felt like it. I'm sure that's exactly what it said. I'm sure of it. You pay hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds for a solution, and then the company just gives up. That's nice. That's nice. Thanks, Drobo. It ain't the first time you've let me down. Russell says Verity did a great job with the drawing of shoes. She did. Shall I show it on the live stream? Shall I be one of those irritating fathers who brags about his children? Because if you don't follow me on social media, you should, because that's where I post all the nude pics. You should. No, don't. In fact, no, don't follow me on social media. It's bollocks. It's all bollocks, isn't it? It's a load of bollocks. Here it is. It's a picture of shoes. But if I show you shoes, I'm gonna have to show you Herb's frog as well. Here it is. It's a picture of some shoes. Wait a minute, let me just resize that so you can, because it would only be fair, because Verity's doing art, you see, and that's her first piece that she submitted. It's drawn. I think it's drawn in pen. I think it's not pencil. I think that's biro, and it's copied from a photograph. But she was the only one that had her work done on Friday. All the rest of the class hadn't finished it, and she was like, she was the first one to finish. And Herb's doing easily. Herb did a frog, right? And that is his best piece of work, right? Because Herb's not the best artist because of his condition, because he has a few motor, skill issues. But we was amazed when he said, "Oh, can I show you my frog?" It's like, absolutely, I want to see your frog. And he showed us it. It was like, yeah, it's like really, really cool. Oh, that ain't good. Russia is poised to annex huge chunks of Ukrainian territory as Putin's lackeys stoke up fears of using nuclear weapons. Oh God. Oh, I don't want to think about that. Oh, more than half of all Britons watched the Queen's funeral. BBC revealed 32.5 million tuned in for the coverage. Wowzers. Wowzers indeed. Sorry, I got carried away looking at the news. That's coffee time. That's not the Tuesday night. Oh, gurgle. Tuesday night extravaganza. Where were we? Stop says, sorry to be a non-audiophile, but seriously, are there any remix albums ever different from the originals? I mean, really, examples? I don't know, I guess there is. I define different. You mean radically different? Or do you mean like improved? I'm sure there are a few. I mean, there are a few Jethro Tull ones that I think benefited. But again, it kind of takes away some of the 70s murk off them. And again, if you're a creature of a certain age, the murk is it's the murk that draws you in. I mean, there's like I said, I've always said there's an album by that band which benefited from it, for the one from 1971. That benefited from the remix because it was always badly recorded, and they cleaned up the audio. But the majority of the time, it's just a complete waste of time. You know, there's very little benefit in doing it, but it gives me something to talk about. It gives people something to watch, and it gives me money. It gives me a little bit of money from the YouTube algorithm, and that's the only reason I do it. By Jiminy, that's the only reason I do it, because I've got no other discernible talent. So why don't I just sit here and talk about Pink Floyd? Luke says hi. Payne says, I will never wear shorts. It's just amateur unscripted stuff mainly. Look at my model stuff at the moment. I never wear shorts either. I think shorts are for holidays. Shorts are for when you're away and you're not at home, and then you can truly relax and show the world your legs. I've got a fine set of legs. I mean, my calves look like they're chiselled from marble. They're fantastic. I've lost a little bit of definition because I don't do all the walking like I used to, but at my peak, when I used to flex my calf muscles, Verity used to get physically sick because of all the veins and all the grooves and creases. She used to go. It's true. It's true that. Yeah, you mean do shoot? I don't know. I think shorts are shoot you, sir. Payne says maybe I should show some of my 40-year-old art. What, art when you were 40 years old, or art when you was 10 years old? Sure. Luke says, do you can unboxing Pink Floyd, the Piper Gates and Dawn? Me can do that. Me done that many time. Stop says, he's talking about some bollocks. Payne says, some of my auto thumbnails actually have my thumbnails in them. That's clever. That's clever. That's like, was it The Mouse and His Child? Have you heard that book? The Infinite Dogs. I love that. Mutton's in. Mutton says, it was cool seeing some older videos back on your channel. Yeah, I was just in the folder. Don't ask me how I ended up in the folder. I clicked the wrong folder. And I found myself in a folder, and I found a couple of videos. And the Peter Gabriel one, the Explorer one, it's a funny video because when it's uploaded, sometimes it gets flagged for a certain bit of music, and sometimes if you upload it, it gets flagged for another bit of music. The only thing is they claim the whole thing, and it's not available in certain territories. So it's like, oh. And that's why I took it down. Well, I forgot to re-upload it, to be honest, but originally I took it down because it was claimed, and it's those days of YouTube when everything was claimed. So I thought, well, okay. I uploaded it a couple of times to see which bits it didn't like, and then I carefully re-spoke the bits because I'm incredibly talented, and it's like it's invisible. You will never notice the difference because my voice hasn't aged in 10 years. Face has, but the voice hasn't. Bjorn says, script or no script, I've been watching the old Genesis reviews and that's a different Darren. You've really lost a few smiles. I've lost a few smiles. Oh, I hope not. Well, that's because of the diabetes. I don't know, I think I was really ill and I didn't realise it. Because, like I said, I was doing an awful lot of walking and I wasn't losing any weight. In fact, I was putting weight on. When I came here, I actually put weight on. I can my phone's over there, but I can show you because I used to weigh myself. I do weigh myself. But in the past, I weighed myself. Come on, Darren. Preciseness of language. It shows preciseness of thought. So I've got this graph, and it actually shows my weight going up when I came here, and I was doing even more walking. But I reckon that was muscle mass, because the muscle and the fat kind of decreased. And then I got Hannah, and then the weight just fell off. It was Alex. Alex made me fat because I loved him so much. Remember, love makes you fat, kids. They'll never bring out a non-fat version of love. It's impossible. Love always makes you fat. I was barely I was 9 stone when I first started going out with the missus. It's true that I think she was heavier than me. Yeah, I was borderline anorexic, but I used to eat, and then I hit my 20s and filled out. That's what happens. But yeah, I think I was ill. There was something going on, and then I lost the weight, and then because of diabetes, I've lost a bit more weight. But I think I'm putting it on again because the dog. I need a fresh dog because my dog is broken and she doesn't like walking anymore, and I'm not getting the walking. I'm not getting the walks that I want. Fast walks. I'm getting slow old man walks, and that's no good for anyone, not even old men. So I need a fresh one. This dog's broken. I need a fresh one. It sounds terrible. No, I don't mean that. It's just it's difficult because what do you do when your dog slows down? I mean, I did it with Alex, but Alex was old, and he slowed down over he seemed to slow down over a long period of time. This dog's just slowed down like. Again, I don't really know how old she is. Whereas Alex slowed down, as he got older and older. He was like 17 when he died. This dog's not even 10. Well, we think she's not. We don't know. I've had her 5 years, so she should be about 7. But she's acting like she's, 12. Who knows? Mystery dog. We don't know how old she is. Sam says, Close to the Edge is now 50 years old. Yippee! Bring out a new version of it, quick! Stop says, have Max run out of felines to name the OS after? Yeah, they name them after California places. At the moment it's, what is it? Is it Monterey? Yeah, we're at Monterey at the moment, and the next one's called, is it called Ventura? I think it's called Ventura. I don't know. But whenever there's a new update, it's a massive ball ache because it's just. I mean, I've only just updated to Monterey. It took like nearly a year for all the music software that I use to be compatible. I think some of it still isn't, but you cross your fingers. You hope that it still works. Well, I don't miss PCs. I always vowed when I hit 40 I'd go Mac after using PCs for 20 odd years. Mutton says, I noticed you've reached 4,000 subs. Ooh, I'm so excited. I couldn't give a fuck. Do you know what? I stayed up that night and waited for the counter to click over. Like fuck I did. It's meaningless. Views are what's important. Views, not subs. Views. I'm only hungry for views. So don't congratulate me on the subs. It's boring. You're boring me now. You're boring. I remember when you guys were cool and hip and fun. See, I've got 1.1 million views on this channel. It's not bad. Add that to the 10 million that I did have. That's 11 million views. It's not bad, is it? Luke says, I think Roger Waters will upload the wall. I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Stop says, that's what Kurt Cobain was playing in for his 1995 Nirvana album. I'm sure it was. Great work, indeed. It was great work for Herb. Grant says, the drawing's so talent. It is. Very's got quite a talent on her. At the moment, she's building a 3D model. I bought her a 3D pen. Uses plastic filament. Because we don't have the space, or well, I suppose I could afford a 3D printer because they've gone down in, but we ain't got nowhere to put it. So I've got a 3D pen, and she's making her models, very creative, out of 3D filament using this 35 quid Polaroid 3D pen, and that's keeping her quiet. That was her birthday present for last week, you know. Or was it this week? No, it was last week, last Friday. It's her birthday. The time goes so quickly. I don't know what I'm doing. So that's good. And I got her a little printer as well, a little thermal printer, which sticker paper. So she make her own stickers, which she's loving. She's just having a great time with that. So it's good. It's got Herb's birthday next week, so that's good, isn't it? Simon says, I like the kids' drawings. They both deserve gold stars. Well, Herb got a badge last week. He got a badge for being in the top 5 achievement points of that week, because he's flying. He's doing really well. He's doing really well. He's finally got the hang of it. He's finally figured out what school's all about. I was like, about time, son. About time. You know, your lazy boy persona, it's not going to work. You've got to actually do the work, son. He's a boy. He likes playing on his computer games rather than doing his homework. You know what boys are like. Martin says, I watched some of the funeral yesterday. Woke up late, but still I saw a good chunk of it on TV. Historic time we've been witnessing, indeed. Yeah, I watched most of it from, crikey, when was it? 10 o'clock? I think we got back with the dog. And I like that kind of stuff. You know, I think it's just fascinating. I remember as a kid, you know, from the royal wedding. Again, Jubilee, the first Silver Jubilee, was a big thing on our street. We had a street party and everything, and I won a fancy dress competition, and you know, and it's I remember, like I say, the royal wedding, and again, all these things I find fascinating. It's you know, defining moment again with the Queen's funeral. You know, it's something we're unlikely to see again. Again, I don't know if Charlie's going to make it to 96. Who knows? But I don't know. He hasn't got enough time to build up that level of goodwill that the Queen did. You know, she put in an awful lot of work. And again, I'm no monarchist, but I'm no Republican either. You know, I don't like the idea. I'd rather keep the monarchy than have another fucking dim-witted, you know, take as much as you can politico heading the country. You know, it's like, you know, I describe it as choosing between a punch in the throat or a kick in the balls. You know, that's the choice. And I'd rather have the history, the castles, you know, the tourism, those people on the world stage going around shaking hands, than another fucking useless politico who's just going to be in it for themselves. Again, when I was younger, I was very anti-monarchy, and, you know, get rid of them. What do we need them for? You know, part of my socialist upbringing. But then again, I come from the East End, and it was also, well, you know, Queen did her part in the war. You know, Philip did as well, and the Queen Mum came around and visited, you know, the bomb sites of the East End. I think, again, Was my nan? I don't think my nan was in Hackney then. I think they'd already moved out of Hackney by that point. So it's kind of in your DNA. You try and deny it, but again, it's like I said, I'm just so disenfranchised with the current political climate and all the politicians. I just think back to the London having a mayor like 22 years ago. They said, "Oh, we're going to have a London mayor." It's like, we don't need a fucking London mayor. And we have a London mayor, and they're all fucking useless. All it's done is cost us money. It's just been expensive. And the funny thing is even though all the rules and regulations they bring out affect us because of London transport and everything, we're not actually in the zone to actually vote for the mayor, even though we pay. Like I say, the buses come here, the tube comes here, but we don't get a say. That is democracy for you. So I'd rather have the monarchy. Even Andy. Grant says, got me listening to Us. Forgot what Grey Adam is. Better than So. Absolutely, it's my favourite. Us is just... Yeah, there's a few wobbly bits on there. Kiss That Frog. I'm looking at you. Steam. I'm looking at you. But it's in terms of production, it's really interesting. It allows Lanois to spread out and do his thing and make it's a more organic album, and you really see Gabriel using the world music influence on the songs to great effect. It's again in places a very spiritual album. I mean, Blood of Eden is just a fantastic song. Digging in the Dirt, great song. Again, one of my great achievements was to get that song playing. Digging in the Dirt, playing with my dad in his car when we was driving out in the night, and I managed to get that one in, and I'm very proud of that because it had all the things in it I wanted to say to him, all the damage he did to me, but he probably didn't get it. It was too thick. Stop says the best song from the funeral was the first one, although to be honest, mute, blah blah blah. But yeah, you got the day off. That's good, isn't it? Fasano says tickets to Roxy Music currently 50th anniversary are a bit expensive for me. They're a bit spicy, aren't they? A bit spicy. You want it on vinyl? Well, I've got. Which one do you want? Which one do you want, Luke? Which one? I mean, crikey. Do 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 do. Oh, maybe I haven't got them anymore. I think I must have done them before 2019. But I did do Pipe when they came out. I've got two. Which one? Do you want the mono one or do you want the stereo one? What do you want to look? There's not a lot to see. You just see the fucking album sleeve. That's it. There's not a lot to see. You fucking Pink Floyd fans, just you're parasites. Payne says, just been looking through the old school era art. Wow, the exam board had low standards back then. Maybe. I think kids have got a little bit more sophisticated now, and again they've got computers, and they're allowed to do photography, and yeah, I don't think we could even do photography, but they can do photography now. I'd have loved to have done photography. I only did art because the computer studies class was full. I didn't want to do art. I imagine most people would do art as the easy subject. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do computer studies, but I had to choose, and that was my backup, and I ended up doing art, and I hated every minute of it. Martin says, how much are Verity and Herbs into music? They're not. Do they play any instruments other than that? No, they don't play any instruments. I don't do it at school because it costs £107 a term for them to have music lessons. So that would cost me 214 quid, and it ain't happening. It ain't happening. So they're not interested. Kids aren't interested in music. Martin says, I play mainly keyboards and percussion, but I did learn the nylon guitar in school. Russ says, do you ever watch the films on Talking Pictures channel? Some great old horror films from the 60s, early 70s. No, because I've probably seen them all. I think I've seen everything. I think I safely say I think I've seen every film that's ever been made. Grant says, I was 237 when I was married. After my divorce, I am 200. Well, worked out well for you, didn't it? I was going to say what she weighed 37 pounds, but that joke doesn't work because she'd be probably dead, wouldn't she? Well, again, you don't see any old morbidly obese people, so it's not healthy. Again, my diet has been pretty dull, but again, I'm completely cutting out sugar now, which is helpful. And everything is protein. I have a protein bar in the morning now, which is mainly nuts. You wonder where all the squirrels have gone? Where did all the squirrels go? That's what I want to know. There's only one squirrel. I think they've all been poisoned. Maybe they got COVID. Where did all the squirrels go? There are acorns everywhere. I keep sliding on them. The dog keeps tripping over acorns. Yeah, my dog trips over acorns. What's that all about? Payne says, love is a mini fattening thing. I suppose it's all that going to dinner, meeting, the chip shop stuff. I just think you just loosen your belt slightly, don't you? You relax a bit, maybe. Oh, Stop says, the monarchy in the UK is a guarantor of a stable government. I just wish 16-year-old me realised that. Is it? I mean, look at the governments we've had since David Cameron. We haven't had any political stability for, crikey, how long's it been? I mean, I don't even think the Cameron government was particularly stable because it was a coalition with Clegg. What? Where did Cleggy go? Where did Cleggy go? Yeah. Yeah, he went to Facebook. But we need to get rid of all the politicians. We need a revolution. We need Charlie. We need Charlie III to rule again. We'd invade France and steal all their gas. It'd be great. Russell says much more positivity from a monarch. Yeah, exactly. It's again, it's because it is symbolic. There's a great symbolism in it. And again, with the Queen, this is somebody who's done that job for 70 years and has been consistent. She's been consistent and has had to adapt. If you think about, from when she started this as a young woman to now, the changes she's seen, both in terms of technology, social, so many changes, and she adapted. And again, we saw her doing a skit with Paddington, at the Platinum Jubilee, which was magnificent. And we need that stability, and I think Charlie represents that too. Again, he's been an understudy for many years, and I'd like to think that he's gonna, he's grown into it. And we need, I think, again, it's all part of our culture. The problem is a lot of people want to disassemble what we are as a nation. And I know these are silly, stupid ideas, but I think they're important. I do think they are really important ideals to hold on to, because we are an old country. And if you look at Europe, look at the European countries that have got monarchs, that have got royalty, and the ones that haven't. Do you want to be Germany? No. Do you want to be France? No. But you might want to be, those groovy Dutch Netherlands types. Yeah? Yeah? No? All right. Spain? They're cool. You see what I mean? But yeah, I mean, it's just, again, I think it's, I like that idea of it being like core values of who we are. And again, a lot of people come here and settle here because we have this history, this culture, and you see, and that was what was great about the queue and the variety of people going there, of standing in line, and again, and lying in the route of the coffin, the variety of people, and you go, that's who we are, that is who we are as a nation. And yeah, it makes you think. It's defining. It's a defining moment, and it really bugs the leftists who want a republic, and the right. I'm sure there are people on the right who want a republic too. It bugs them because when they see all this, they can't believe it because they know that they haven't got a chance of ever getting the Republican dream that they want, and they'll never, that dream of returning to the EU is over as well. I think so. It's hard for them. They're having a bit of a hard time of it, Bit of a hard time. Garrett says, since Verity is a PCO fan, did you get into the Portico? Though they're fairly experimental, I don't think they'd be hard for the younger generation to get into. She's listened to some of this stuff. She's all right. She listens to stuff on YouTube. Oh God, what was the band that she listens to? There was one band she was listening to that I'd heard of. Oh, was it Caravan Palace? Something like that. And I was like, oh, I know them. So I think she was surprised that old Dad knew who she was listening to. And again, that's what they find their own way. I think she likes kind of electronic music, almost like game music. She digs the Fall Guys soundtrack. There's no. As for Herb, I don't know what Herb likes. I think he's secretly a Darren Lock fan. I think he is. He's got a couple of my CDs up there in his room, which he demanded when he was younger. Poor bastard. Sorry, says hi. Everything been quiet since? Yeah, it's all been. Everything's fine since the Queen. She's we've got a king now. We've got a new king. So, though we haven't heard when the coronation is going to be. I reckon it's going to be next May. What do you reckon? We're going to have a spring coronation. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? An extra bank holiday. That'd be really cool. I reckon he'll do it the Friday before May Day, so we get a long weekend. There you go. You heard it here first. I'm predicting it. I've probably got that completely wrong. So there you go. Garrett says, that is, as long as they appreciate good music. It's almost even a good introduction to that kind of music because the genres Portico fuses together so well. Well, again, I don't really push my things I like on the kids. I let them find their own way. I'm not one of those, you got to listen to this. Verity will come and sit. Sometimes if I'm listening to music, she'll come and sit and listen to it with me. But it's not. I don't. It's not mandatory. I don't make them. Children, you will listen to this new album. But sometimes she'll come and listen. There was a period when I think she listened to some of the Who albums with me, and she wanted to. She's listened to. I think she listened to Genesis quite a few times. When we used to do Prog Sunday when she was little, she didn't have a choice then. Stop says, I work for the exam board. Never in the world has been so obvious that we're dumbing down the children of today. I don't think so. I think they're pretty smart, actually. It depends what you mean by dumb. They're not interested in news and current affairs, but in terms of technology and having their heads together, I think they're pretty with it. My daughter's smarter than anybody, smarter than me, but also a bit dopey as well. So. Jason said, "Did you ever review the Bowie remix of Never Let Me Down?" No, because I didn't buy the box set. So Pinks is in. He says hello there. And he wishes that we're all doing fine. I think we are. Grant says, Friday watching the musical box do Lamb. My English friend thinks of it as Genesis American album for Americans to understand Genesis. Yeah, think about that. A load of public school boys write about. Oh, it's midnight already. I'll turn it to a pumpkin in a minute. Write about a Puerto Rican graffiti artist on the streets of New York, but it comes across so very, very British. I'm counting out time. That's very American, isn't it? And then you wouldn't be able to do it now. Peter Gabriel blacks up and does brownface on stage every night. Oh, those were the days. Well, yeah, I think they wanted to. I think again, they were kind of preempting punk and the hard edge music. This is what Gabriel was looking at. He was looking at what was going on in America, and I think he wanted the band to get away from that kind of drippy, hippie, airy, fairy stuff that they were doing, and he wanted to adopt a harder edge with their music. And by looking at what was going on in America and setting the album in America, he could, get the band, in that kind of mental zone. It's his way of saying, we're going to do an aggressive album, and it's some of the hardest, ballsy stuff on there. And that's purely, again, him introducing a concept which was not just a thematic concept, it was also a musical concept. He made them go in a direction that it wouldn't necessarily have gone. So he's pretty smart. He was a smart cookie. He manipulated them to get to get where he wanted to go. Grant says, oh no, we've done that. Pink says, anybody knows where Boris is? Well, he was at the funeral, wasn't he? So he was at the funeral yesterday. I don't know what he's doing today. Probably counting his children, I'd imagine. Payne says, there's a crabapple tree by my road near me and it throws its fruit at cars. There's lots of, you've got to be careful of that stuff. We've got there's a tree that drops these horrible berries and they're very squishy, very slippery. Go A over T, not good. Munna says, I've no use for these remixes, such as the one for Animals. Like when Stephen Wilson went through KC, Jethro Tull, Gentle Giant, I don't see the point of upgrading albums in that regard. Again, it's something for me to talk about. The Jethro Tull stuff, I wasn't familiar. Well, I was familiar in a. I'd listen. A few MP3s, So I thought I'd buy them and work my way through them that way. And I still don't understand the appeal. But that's just me. I'm a Genesis fan. You can't be a Genesis fan, a true Genesis fan, and a Jethro Tull fan. It's just completely incompatible. But no, it's got a joke. It's become a joke now, especially with the Animals release. I mean, it's just so half-hearted. It's not even funny. It's like, here you go. It's like, could you put a little bit more effort into it? Oh, here's a CD with it then. Bit more. There's a Blu-ray. Anything else? There's a booklet. And that's it. That's it. And you're going to charge us 60 quid for that? Yeah. We would have charged you 130, but, the liner notes. Couldn't get a line in the notes. And, and it's all getting so utterly boring. I mean, it was exciting when Genesis did it, and I still think those Genesis box sets are the vanguard. I mean, the Jethro Tull ones were good, because again, Ian Anderson used to write these great essays, and I'd buy it to read the essays, because it was better than anything in those magazines that cover this subject, because he was actually talking, and he'd do explanations of breakdowns of the songs, which are great for people who are not familiar with the various lore and euphemisms that we have in this country. So I thought that was great, really valuable, But the format, again, it was a bit, you're afraid of cracking the spines of those things. So, but they were good value, but not so much good value now, because they seem to be getting more and more expensive. More and more expensive. But they're redoing Thick as a Brick. I might pick that one up again, actually. I don't know, because it's very funny just to read the little magazine, little comic that comes with it. But yeah, it's not good. mean, we should have a dictatorship stop. We should have a dictatorship. Charlie should just take over. We could invade Europe. Second Great British Empire. I'm there. I'm so there. I'm so ready for it. What do you reckon? Let's take our values around the world. Let's take British exceptionalism back around the world again. One more time. Martin says, unless an album really does sound that bad at first, but Animals didn't have that problem. No, it didn't. It's a very well recorded album. In fact, there's bits of guitar on Dogs which make me go because they've futzed it up. They've done something with it, and it's just because I know that record so well, and it's like stop it, stop it. The B-side, it's all right. It's a bit zingy, but if you want it more zingy, just adjust your graphic equaliser. Who remembers graphic equalisers, eh? Who remembers graphic equalisers? You go into Dixon's. Who remembers going into Dixon's and playing with the graphic equalisers and making little faces? Do you remember doing that? Oh, just me then. Young says, the only thing I like about these Truss is I plan to abolish the sugar tax so I can get my hands on some proper Fanta. Just so I can prove Club was always better anyway. Well, the sugar tax, again, they came at that the wrong way. They should have actually been fining the manufacturers. They should have been fining those guys and ensuring that there was less sugar in products, because sugar is addictive. And again, artificial sweeteners are just as bad. Though, thank God for sugar-free lemonade. Thank you, God. But I'm sure these manufacturers could cut sugar, and it'd still be palate. Our palates will get used to, not so much sugar in this stuff. But as somebody who has to look out, at how much sugar is in everything, you're supposed to have 30 grams of sugar. That's like your limit. That's what your body. To be healthy, you should have 30 grams of sugar in your diet. And how much is it in a can of pop? I think it's something crazy like 18 grams of sugar. How much sugar in a can of Coke? That's what it filled in for me. 39 grams of sugar in a 12-ounce can of Coke. Right? Well, you've done your daily intake, and then if you, take for example cereals. Some of those cereals can be like 10, 12 grams of sugar, and that's without the carbs. Don't get me going on carbs, man. I've become a carb Nazi. So by the time you've left the house, you've done half your daily intake of sugar. It's crazy. So I'm on a very low sugar diet now, and it's done me no harm. It's just I have this very bitter taste in my mouth all the time. I want sugar so much. I don't actually. That's the thing. I don't have a craving for sugar. Now everything is really sweet, and fruit tastes great. It's just fantastic. Have an apple. Oh, it's great. Strawberries, fantastic. It changes your palate. It really does. And I recommend everyone to just kick the sugar habit, because you'll suddenly develop your palate again. It's really interesting. Really interesting. But there you go. But yeah, the sugar tax was wrong. They should have gone after the manufacturers and forced those bastards to change their manufacturing processes rather than penalising the consumer. It's always the consumer who pays. It's never the manufacturers. It's never big business who bears the brunt of this. It's always us. So yeah. So in a way, I kind of agree with her. But then, who wants the nanny state? Nobody wants the nanny state. We're adults. If somebody wants to die drinking Red Bull, consistently drink Red Bull and vape and do nothing else, then that's up to them. They're adults. Munton says, that's why for KC I like the 30th anniversary editions and don't need the 40th ones with the remixes and DVDs. Yeah, the 30th ones also have a booklet that don't feature writing from the Ginger Pig, which makes me feel happy. Sullied, I say. Stop says, The Lamb, in my opinion, is the most un-Genesis album ever, even more than the pre-70s and post-80s material. What are you talking about? It's incredibly Genesis. I think you're drunk. I think you're just spoiling for a fight. But I can't be bothered to tell you how wrong you are. But you're wrong. It's probably the most Genesis album. It's got all the elements you want there. Storytelling, instrumental passages, orchestral bits, guitar solos, or acoustic parts, you name it, it's got it all. In fact, it's Genesis to the max. Genesis Max! Now sugar-free. Munton says, Liz Truss meeting with the Queen just 2 or 3 days before her passing. Talk about super lucky. You could see the Queen was very ill though then. This is it when the pictures came out of her meeting the Queen. And Boris met her before. Because she has to I think what happens is he bends over her knee and she smacks his bottom and then sends him on his way. I think that's what happens. And that's what killed her. But no, she looked very frail. She looked like she'd shrunk, you know. But that's what old people do. They just kind of disappear into themselves. And when you saw that picture, it was like, oh dear. And then when it was that she was ill, I thought, oh no, this isn't good. And then when it was like, oh, Prince Charlie's been called up, I said to the missus, she's either dead already or dying, you know, because it was the nature of the, Princess Anne was already with her, and there was this big rush of everyone. You know, Harry, I think, was in Germany, and he had to go, and it was just, But 96, it's a good innings, and everything she did. I mean, every night she used to go to bed and read the big briefcase of notes that she got delivered every day from the government. Work through those. I mean, that was dedication. A totally dedicated person to her country, and that's just, it's something I can't do, and I'm always incredibly I have incredible admiration for people who can do things that I can't, except for cyclists. I hate cyclists. They're always cycling on the pavements. But everyone else, if you can do something I can't, then like roll your tongue. I can't roll my tongue. Mrs. winds me up about it. But then I say, you can't do this. Or this. Or this. And then she shuts up. It's what you do. It's what you have to do, isn't it? You just have to be in the zone. But no, I think it's one hell of a job to do. Payne says, when my uncle was protesting Charles in the 60s, he asked him what his sign in Welsh said. My uncle replied, "You're not very bright, are you?" That's not very nice. That's not very nice, is it? Why would you protest Charles? He's the Prince of Wales. Not anymore. You've got a new Prince of Wales. A new improved Prince of Wales. Well, I'm sorry. You Welsh folk, you should have just fought a bit harder, shouldn't you? You should have fought a bit harder. Yeah? You've got all those gorgeous sheep to protect. I'll just alienate the Welsh contingent. We can't help, look, you know what we're like. We see a country, think, that looks nice, we'll take it. It's what we're like. It's what we're like. Except for the Scots. They were poor ass broke and they needed our help, and we went, let's get the checkbook. Oh dear. It's good here. It really is, isn't it? Young says, Payne says, the Speaker of the Commons, George Thomas, stepped in to say, yes he is. He's got 2 A-levels. Oh, there was a punchline. I didn't see that bit. Norg says, howdy, hope you're doing well. Still here. Ben says, evening. Evening. Stop says, get into Ghost, great band. No, I don't. I'm not getting my kids into shitty bands called Ghost, sorry. Let's be honest. There's been no decent music since, I don't know, year 2000, I think. Young says, "Oh, trust me, your kids love your stuff. There's nothing better than Dad's music." Well, Verity doesn't listen to it. I wind her up and said, "When I'm dead, you're going to have to listen to all 44 albums, and you're going to have to pretend to like it, and you're going to have to look at my digital archive. But don't look in that folder. Don't look in that folder there. Never look in that folder. Only Mum can look in that folder." That's a joke. That's a joke. I've got to be careful. People think there is that folder. There might be that folder. I don't know. There are many folders on the Drobo. Hundreds of folders. Who knows what's on the Drobo? Not even I know. Like I say, I have to click a folder and I go, I forgot I had you there. I forgot. Oh dear. Munton says, "Considering your knowledge and understanding of your native land's history, who would you say was the greatest or least favourite king of England?" Oh, I don't have a favourite. It's got to be. I mean, your favourite's got to be Henry VIII, isn't it? You know, because of all the queens. You know. He's buried where the Queen's buried. Did you know that? With Jane Seymour. Not Jane Seymour. Not James Seymour from Live and Let Die. No, not that Jane Seymour. The other, Jane Seymour's still alive. She's still hot as well. She's still hot. I would. But with my feet, and my back for that matter. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah. So the Queen in their crypt, they've got King Henry VIII. I'm King Henry VIII. I am. You've got to be into music hall for that one. Pink says, "Mine is Helen Mirren. She did a fine Queen." See, I only know the nudie films of Helen Mirren. I can't watch her. I can't watch her now because I just, King says, "Good evening." Good evening. Alex says, "Evening. Is Lamb your favourite Genesis album?" Yes, it is. I try and pretend it's selling England by the pound because that's what all the cool kids like. But it was my first Genesis album, and I only bought it because for $4.99 you got like 2 albums worth, and I thought that's a bargain. And I remember, I've told this story many times, it was just on cassette, and I listened to it every day for, it must have been over 6 months. Every day I put it on because I didn't know what it was about, and there was no internet. I didn't know what the story was. I didn't have the liner notes. Didn't know who played on it. I knew nothing. It was plain. I don't know if they've got. I wonder if they got a grab of the liner notes. Genesis Lamb. Dad. A boy. Cassette. Inlay. Let's have a look. Let's have a butcher's. Was it that one? It weren't that one. Oh, maybe there's actually a dedicated web page to this. Discogs. Oh no, we don't want to go to Discogs. Discogs is the worst place to go. Oh, this is a bad idea. You never go to Discogs. Was it this one? No, it wasn't that one. Anyway, you guys talk amongst yourselves. Which one did I have? Oh, there was one. I can't find it. Must be around here somewhere. You'd think there'd be the one from the... Was that it? No, that weren't it. Was that it? I remember it being yellow. I remember it being yellow on the front. I remember having a yellow spine. But that ain't it. It had a yellow spine. Ah, that was it. That kind of looks like it. Yeah. Yeah. That looks like it. This is great. This makes great viewing. It kind of looked like this, but this isn't quite it, because this is a... I think this might be an American one, but it looked like that, right? Oh no, it is the English one. It looked like that, and there wasn't much on the inside. Yeah. There is not a lot on the inside of it to give you any indicator of what's going on. That is it. That is it. That's the one. That's the one. I've decided now. Ah, wait a minute. This is it. Oh, it's really tiny. That's what she said. Right, and this was my introduction to Genesis, right? And that's all I had to go on, right, of what the album was about. That. And I'd look at that and I'd go, that's the one, because it had the Virgin logo. I remember now. That's the one. And I'd sit there and I'd play it, like I said, and I didn't know who played on it. It just says Genesis, you know. I knew it was produced by John Burns and Genesis. And that was my introduction. And it was like a puzzle. It was a musical puzzle box, which I listened to over and over and over again until, well, I kind of know it inside out. It's not healthy. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 copies of that album. I got the German pressing. Not like it was like about 76, 77, but it's got a nice spine. Nice spine. Not cracked. German pressings are pretty good from that era. So now I want to put it on and listen to it. Stop says, mate, I literally edit exam papers to 16, 18-year-olds dumbing down their kids. Yeah, but you can't measure intelligence by exam. All you're measuring is retention of information. That isn't intelligence. That's memory you're measuring. You're saying that the kids have got worse memories. I can tell you, yeah, I know, because on bloody TikTok they have a very short attention span. But intelligence, you can't measure intelligence by exams. That's just dumb. Yeah. So don't do all that dumbing down the kids shit with me, because it won't wash. That flannel will not wash, boy. Will not wash. Young says, yeah, agreed. Watch any video of children from pre-2000 and you'll see. Lol. Oh, God, okay. Attention spans of vocabulary. Yeah. See, you're being snobs. You see, you're being utter snobs. Do you have children? Do you live with children? No, you don't. Well then, look, I know what it is. It's because my kids are fucking brilliant. That's so I'm biased, and see, maybe I'm not seeing it for what it is because my kids are so smart. You know, so that's obviously what's going on here. You know. And so my experience is skewed by the sheer brilliance of my children. It's obvious. It's obvious. Obvious. Munn says, I always found Peter Gabriel unique for what he did in Genesis vocal-wise because of the strong influences of Otis Redding and Motown on him. It's cool to hear his soulful delivery mixed with classically and folk influenced compositions and adventurous storytelling lyrics which would made them progressive in the first place. Well, again, this is what makes them interesting as a band, you know, because you've got him doing he's got the soul thing. You've got Phil Collins who wants to be a jazz player, you know, trad jazz player, you know. You've got Tony Banks Tony Banks doesn't know who he wants to be, you know. He wants to be Peter Gabriel because they've got that rivalry, you know, the peer rivalry thing going on. Mike Rutherford he's an interesting character, you know. I find him, you know, quite interesting, you know, because he's a very good foil to Anthony Phillips, And I'd love to have seen, how he interacted with Steve Hackett more. Again, his contribution to Voyager's Acolyte is interesting. Because that album is a Genesis album, except for Tony Banks not being on it. And then you got Steve Hackett, who's all over the shop, stylistically speaking. They're a unique band. That's the thing about Genesis. They're a totally unique proposition. And and as their career went on, they truly progressed. Whereas a lot of other bands stayed very much still. They stood still and let the world change around them. Genesis never did that. They continually pushed forward. I know people go, oh, but I like the Gabriel years. Phil Collins made it pop. Phil Collins never wanted to make it pop. He was dallying around with Brand X whilst, with Genesis during that phase, whilst as they got more and more pop. And that was Rutherford and Banks that were doing that. People should pay attention. But yeah, they was always pushing forward and trying to adapt and trying to, but also be progressive. People don't like it that Invisible Touch was popular. They don't like it that they were progressive on that record. I'm getting too old to defend him. I used to hate Invisible Touch, and then one day the penny dropped. And you go, wait a minute, they managed to make a progressive rock album that was totally palatable to the average man, woman and child. Bravo! And it was only like a fortnight between that and Sober Peter Gabriel. So if he'd have stayed in the band, they'd have been on the same course, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be singing about pixies and wearing capes and, aliens and stuff. Stop says, I listened to Steve Wilson Raven, Up Before the Crow Farts is the official title. To me, it sounded like 1972 Jesse's rejected songs. Funny how he never cites them as an influence, because I don't think he ever does he really? I don't think he really likes them. I think they're a little bit too intellectual for him. He's more of a Jethro Tull fan and a Tears for Fears fan. That's all you need to know. No, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong there. I don't think it sounds like Genesis at all. Mutton says, we've done that. Russell says, remember going to the video rental shop weekends? Simple pleasures back in the day. I never did it. We didn't have a VHS, sorry. I didn't get VHS till a lot later, about 89, I think it was, when me and the missus found 200 quid on the street walking to Walthamstow. Yeah, 4 neatly folded £50 notes on the floor called me over. They went, over here. And we bought a VHS recorder. Free VHS. Martin says, of course, the Beatles and Genesis box sets are exceptions. Love Sgt. Pepper set. Kudos to Giles Martin. The Revolver one should be interesting. Yeah, but very expensive. Munton says, what will be the name of the live stream? I really don't know. Munton says, how about the one where we salute the Queen? We send off the Queen. How about that? That's give the Queen a send off. I'll meet you halfway on that. Payne says, my uncle was the Welsh nationalist of the family, but he died of bone cancer in his 50s, so England and Chuck 3 are safe. Oh, that's a shame. Sorry to hear that. He wasn't a miner or something like that, was he? Because you hear about horrible stories of people who worked in heavy industry get these horrible illnesses and diseases. Oh, I'm really, really sorry to hear that. It must have been horrible for him. Looking forward to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Absolutely. The kids, we're going to be watching it all. We might even binge watch it on Friday. They're going to be running home from school and we're going to be watching it. Now let's never be creative again. We know all the songs. We know all the songs. It's considering I used to have shown them when they were really young. They've kind of grown up with it. But yeah, we will be watching it. Martin says, I'm off. Nighty night. Have a good dinner. Oh, there are many bad sex songs. Many bad sex songs. Stop apologising. Crikey. Oh God. I might need a reminder. I keep thinking... I'm thinking Stranglers, Peaches, but is that really a bad sex song? Bad sex songs. 20 worst songs to have sex to? They've got worse songs to listen to during sex. That's not a good. 100 worst songs to have sex to. I'll tell you, one of the best albums to have sex to, Omadon. That's some good rhythm there with those African drums, you know. Here we go. 20 all-time worst song lyrics about sex. Justin Timberlake, Strawberry Bubblegum. John Mayer, Your Body is a Wonderland. Black Eyed Peas, My Humps. 50 Cent, Candy Shop. U2, Get on Your Boots. Interpol, Stella was a diver and she was always down. Kiss, Burn Bitch Burn. That's a catchy one. Peter Gabriel, Kiss That Frog. Indeed. Amanda Palmer, Map of Tasmania. Mind you, she's divorced now from Gaiman, isn't she? She's free. I always thought it was funny that, you know, with Neil Gaiman, I'd seen his wife naked more times than he'd seen my wife naked, and I like that. I like those odds. Robin Thicke, Blurred Lines. You can't play that one anymore. R. Kelly, Share My Love. He ain't ever coming out of the closet, is he? Kings of Leon, Sex on Fire. Eminem, Drips. You can get penicillin for that. Prince, Soft and Wet. Nickelback, SEX. Led Zeppelin, the Lemon Song. Oh yeah, Squeeze My Lemon. Jimmy Webb, MacArthur Park. God, that remembers it was, what's his name, wasn't it? Richard. Oh God, the actor Richard. Oh, I can't think of his name. Richard, I can see his face. Richard, the actor who did MacArthur Park as well, didn't he? Richard. Oh, I'm gonna have to do a googly for it. Richard Harris, Man Called Horse. There we go. I got there in the end. I can see his face. I can't think of his name. Alex says, he's fucking great. Even discovered as a 43-year-old crusty in 2022. What are you talking about? Talking about Genesis? Yeah. Sorry, says, I still think Selling England is significantly better than Lamb. Yeah, but it's got More Fool Me on it, which really fucking grates. So, a gazillion points off just for that song. Sorry says, what would your reaction be if there was a prog concept album made about Chris Chan? Oh fuck, it probably could happen, couldn't it? Payne says, no, he moved from job to job, some of which may have been toxic. He also did Fiery and The Wall of Death. Wow, what a guy. I don't know if people are familiar with The Wall of Death. It's that cylindrical tube where they run the motorbike around. Oh, it's fucking great. I love that. What a great story. Cyrus says, I hope the new Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared episodes include the one that was screened at Sundance a few years back. No. If it's the one where there's a mayor of a town, that was done by a different production company. It was done for a US production company. These episodes are wholly new. It's a completely different thing, and that they weren't happy with, and it's been kind of shelved and hidden away. I don't know, maybe if they release these on Blu-ray or something, we might get it as an extra. That'd be cool. But no, I remember that being announced. They even did a trailer for that. because that was supposed to be on TV and it just never happened. So no, we're actually quite excited for it. We're quite excited. We are. Everyone yells Harris. Thank you. I got there in the end. I was just having a senior moment. It is midnight, and I think with Richard Harris we'll end there. What do you reckon? I wasn't too bad this week. Last week's one was a bit poor because I did have a headache, but this week I feel like I was in the zone, and I think everyone else was in the zone too. So thank you one and all for the help. It was very good. It was very good. Anyway, I'm going to end on a story. It was doing a story, right? Well, anyway, the other day, because because of things, trolls pop back now and again, right? And I had this guy pop back, and I didn't recognise the name, but he asked me a very specific question, which made me think, oh, I know you. So I kept an eye on him, and he was asking some more questions. And today he left a very very awful comment on a video I made today. Well, it's an old video I posted. Terrible comment it was. And there was a couple of lines in it which instantly reminded me of this blog that was doing the rounds many years ago. And this guy had written many awful things about me, and even superimposed my face onto pornographic pictures, and written terrible things about the missus and that. I only found that out recently when I showed her the blog and found the entry about her. This guy is a pervert of the highest order. He's probably even guilty, if you're watching, of making CP. I have to say that because he'll get flagged because he superimposed the head of a teenage girl onto pornography. And so yeah, so anyway, I thought, it's you, little alarm bell above my head. So I look at his YouTube channel, and even though it's called something else, it has his original username in the description. So I thought, I remember that name. I remember you, because you used to comment quite a few times. Because I remember you to some forums, did a little bit more digging, a little bit more searching, found a variation of his name. Yeah. I thought, oh, put that in, a little bit more searching, found his MySpace page, which included the username from years ago. Had his full name, had the town where he lives in, in America. A bit more searching later, bingo bongo, I found the name and address of one of my trolls. Oh, what power we have, Keith. What power if you're watching. Oh dear, you're guilty of many crimes, sir. You are guilty of many crimes. Do not sleep easily tonight, because I know where you live. So yeah, that was a good day. You've got to learn to cover your tracks, and I've got all your details. But I'm going to sit on them. For a while. Anyway, I'm out of here. That was a nice little story, wasn't it? That was a nice little story for you. That was a nice little story. Just got to, sit on those details. But yeah, it's good when all the pieces fall into place and a certain mystery resolves itself. That mystery, I know the answer to. So yeah, that was good fun. Anyway, thank you for watching. You've been a lovely audience, and thanks for playing along. Remember, if you can't be good, be safe, but more importantly, please don't tell your mother. Ta-da, and nighty-night.